Hey everybody, welcome back. It's a Saturday afternoon, another warm, sticky day. I'm going to do a Scandinavian beer today from a company I've never had anything from. And although the company's from Scandinavia, this was brewed at Mercury Brewing Company, Ipswich Ale Brewery in Ipswich, Massachusetts. So even though it's a Danish company, it's brewed here in the States, but I'm sure it's their recipe and they had a lot of input into it. But from Kissmeyer, I'm going to do their Stockholm Syndrome. From the website, actually from the bottle, they don't really have a website. It says, heavily hopped with 50% US and 50% New Zealand hops for a dry, clean, and intensely fruity double IPA. The explosion of citrus, passion fruit, peach, and apricot flavors wraps the intense hot bitterness in a highly seductive way. Think, this is my ideal fruit bowl. Like I said, style, they call it a double IPA. It's 9.5% ABV and 100 IBUs. I know absolutely nothing about this beer, but let me get the cap off and see what we got. Now, that cap was on there tight, so no smoke, a little hiss. Yeah, I'll slow down. Oh, I can smell that already. Slow down a little bit. That head's getting a little big. I tried pouring carefully, but yeah, we got a nice dark orange, not quite amber color. Two and a half fingers of a really creamy, foamy looking off-white head. Ton of carbonation streaming up. Really a nice looking double IPA. Let me get a little more in the glass here. Even though I can smell it, I can tell that head's going to stick around a lot. All that carbonation streaming up. I don't know if you can see that or not, but ton of carbonation streaming up and just a lot of really little tiny bubbles. So let's get a nose. Okay, that's I'm getting a lot of malts, but it's also pretty heavy with like some pine resin, little fruitiness there, some grass, some stone fruits, maybe like peach or apricot. What did they mention? They mentioned peach and apricot, yeah. Nice grassy hops, but you can tell it's a lot of malts in here. There's almost a sugary sweet malt base that you can smell, and you're actually even getting a little bit of that 9% alcohol. But there's lots of malt and toffee in this. Along with the grapefruit and the pineapple and the herbal notes and the stone fruits, and just like I said, just a hint of booze in there. So let's get a taste. Now, one thing I don't like, I don't see any date anywhere. I'll look a little closer, but I couldn't find any date anywhere on the bottle, which I don't really like, but it starts out it's pretty malty. You're still getting some nice bitterness from that pine resin, and some mild, like those stone fruits, the apricots and the pears. Might be a hint of apple in there. The alcohol is there, and but it's not overwhelming. But it's a really chewy, sweet malt texture to it. The malts like brown sugar, toffee, caramel, maybe a little toasted malts. That's primarily what you're getting. The hops are herbal and pine notes in particular. Sort of mingle with the sweeter notes, but. And they do give you like a light bitter aftertaste lasts just a little bit. It's a medium to full, but for an IPA, it's pretty heavy bodied. I'd say a medium full bodied, but really smooth and creamy, especially with all that carbonation. So let me sit. I will sip on this for a while. I'll come back in a while with the final thoughts and grade. Okay, I'm back. It's only been 20 minutes or so. Yeah, I'm enjoying this. This is a good beer. I don't know if you can hear them. I think those, well, yeah, definitely those 1 year cicadas are coming out now. I can hear them in the background off in the trees there. They'll get pretty thick around here before long, I think. But it's the first of them. They're not nearly as noisy as those 17-year cicadas that you've heard on some of those other reviews I've been doing lately. But they'll be gone pretty quick, and the 1 years will be up. But yeah, this is yeah, for an IPA, this almost reminds me of like an American barley wine. There's some hoppiness to it, but it's mostly maltiness. Not nearly as hoppy or bitter as something with 100 IBUs. I would expect anyway. But it's that in a way, it's a little sweeter and a little more approachable than some double IPAs. And there's just I noticed as it's warmed up, there's just a hint of some kind of sourness in there. I'm not sure what they used. I was reading on the label, and they do tell some of the ingredients, but a lot of it's in Danish, and I don't understand it at all. But it's definitely a less bitter finish than I'm getting used to in this, than I'm expecting in the style too. It's less bitter throughout, and less bitter finish, and more of a sweeter finish with those sweeter stone fruits kind of lingering around on the finish. It's a good beer. I looked everywhere on the bottle, and I do not see a date anywhere, and that's going to drop it down a little bit, because especially for an IPA, that's a big drawback to not having any kind, either a brewing date or a best by date. There's no date anywhere that I could discern anywhere on the bottle. So I'm going to give the Kissmeyer Stockholm Syndrome double IPA. It's a good solid beer, but like I said, reminds me more of barley wine than anything. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. So till next time, everybody, cheers. Let's keep drinking good beers. Oh yeah, I just got to add, I saw Los Lobos last night. First time I'd seen them live, they were stellar. They haven't lost anything in 40 years. It was a stellar concert. I was only going to stay for about half of it, and I stayed for all of it. Yeah, and tonight the Rebirth Jazz Band out of New Orleans is going to be the headliner, and I'm going to miss part of that, but I'm going to get to at least see half of it, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'll tell you, the crowd was huge. Like I said, yesterday, it's a block from my house. The streets were full for 3 blocks, and people off on the lawns and everything. It was a hell of a crowd. People were dancing, having a good time. So, looking forward to tonight. So, cheers again, everybody. Thanks for all the comments and good wishes and everything else that I've got.